Wrestling Paradox Podcast back once again in the building. It is Saturday night. It is our topic night. Just like usual, you got myself and Chris right there. Say what's up, Chris.
Hello. What up?
All right, so tonight, topic night, we are discussing the worst stipulations to ever happen in wrestling. Man, tonight's going to be a fun night. I know I got a lot of shit to talk about. I think WCW's made my list the most out of everything.
I think I'm the opposite.
What?
I think I'm the opposite, yeah.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is why this show works. You get, I guess, the best of both worlds, I should say. So I'm going to open it up. And this one, this match is a theme match for somebody in particular. And there was at one point that somebody wasn't even in the match. And that is the Punjabi prison match. Dude, I don't understand this match. I remember it was supposed to be the Great Khali and I think Big Show or Undertaker. And then it ended up being Big Show and Undertaker fighting each other. And it doesn't make sense. And Batista did the only thing that was actually smart to do, climb over the first one and jump to the second one. I didn't get the closing doors. I don't know what happened here. What?
Do you remember trying to watch it on pay-per-view?
Dude, it was the worst. It was so bad.
Can you imagine being the Brock Lesnar guy sitting front row and you can't see 5 feet in front of you?
Yeah, no, that was horrible. You know, and I always found it. Yeah, it was so funny because that match was so hard to watch. And I'm sure we're going to touch this match later, but that red thing in TNA, that was another one that I couldn't – you don't know what's going on in the match. How do you expect me to jump and mark out and pop if I can't see what the fuck just happened? I don't get it.
It was a lethal lockdown is what you're talking about.
Oh, my God. I didn't even want to remember the name. Thanks. You ruined it for me.
You're welcome.
What were your thoughts on the Punjabi prison match?
It was behind the 8 ball way before it even started. It was like you said, Great Khali was supposed to be in the match. He got hurt like the day before or something along those lines, and he's not even in the match when it was made for him.
I did pop when Orton and Jinder had the Punjabi prison and Ghali showed up. I was like, oh, I mean, what? Why is he here? I popped a little bit, man. I felt like Randy Orton. Randy Orton was like, what? What's that guy doing here?
Yeah, I don't know.
It was so weird. So weird. Who makes your list first, man?
All right. Well, I'm going to start off with this might not go over very well, but I think the Inferno match for me is probably one of the worst stipulations ever.
Dude,
What?
You mean to tell me you didn't love it when people got slammed to the ring and flames shot out of nowhere? That didn't entertain you?
It was a spectacle. Trust me, it was great. It was great to watch, but the whole stipulation behind it is you have to basically almost attempt murder to win a wrestling match. Like, you got to throw your guy in the flames. I just didn't get it. Like, after you won, you could put his hand in the fire. Okay. Like, I didn't get it.
You know, I got the text from you earlier about 2 matches you did not like, and you said both of them included the Undertaker. And the Inferno match did not cross my mind. I figured you, of all people, would like that match.
No, it didn't. You know why? Because of the fact that I think there was also a time limit on it. Because if you let those, propane tanks run for a certain amount of time, they're going to explode. So
it's like a 15-minute match.
It's only getting so. There's no like ending to the storyline between Kane and Undertaker on that. It's going to be a quick 8 to 12-minute match with the 3 minutes of someone trying to put their hands in the fire or something along those lines. And I just didn't. It didn't do anything for me. It was a spectacle, but it just didn't do anything for me as a wrestling match.
Dude, and now that I think about it, Kane and Undertaker both had, like, extremely long hair. Undertaker's was real hair. Kane's was fake hair. Like, that shit could have caught. Any moment. That's
what
not
I'm
a good match. You
saying.
know what? I'm taking that match, and I'm taking it over here, and I'm putting it in a bad match. Good call, Chris. I give you that one. Good call.
Hey.
We agree on 2 so far. We agree on 2. You changed my mind mid-story there, mid-thought. Now I'm thinking about it. God, that's the spectacle of it was good, but yeah, man, no, that was dangerous. That wasn't good. These fucking guys, man. I don't know how Vince McMahon talks him into it. Yeah, man. All right, I'm gonna follow that up with the Yakapine Indian strap match, dude. The strap match, I just don't understand it. And usually the strap, or you know what? I'm sorry, not the strap match. Let me reword that. The strap match was okay. I like seeing that part. It was the tied at the hands with either a chain or the strap. You know, they had. That's what it is, right? The strap match, yeah. And then you have to touch all 4 corners.
No, you had you might be also thinking about like a Texas bull rope match.
Yeah, I don't like the one with the 4 corners. I thought that was a strap match. Here I am. God, I'm sorry, guys.
It's a strap match. A strap match and a bull rope match are the same thing.
Yeah. Dude, I don't like it. You have to. Yeah, you got to touch the corners, and throughout the whole match, it cracks me up a little bit. Throughout the whole match, you have, people touching 3 corners, and there's an interruption, or touching 2 corners, there's an interruption. But that last pop, it always takes like 30 seconds. They touch 3 corners, and it takes 30 seconds to get to the final corner, and it catches. Like, why didn't it reset like last time? I don't get it. I have to watch John Cena build up for 5 minutes while all 3 corners are still green? Really?
It's the Hogan effect. He's got the Hogan effect. He's got to Hulk up. That's it. That's just it. That's Cena.
But why don't the corners reset? I don't fucking get it, man.
It's true. It's true.
So, but I do like it when they use the chain and like Rusev's like has like John's face like crunched up in the chains doing the full.
And it's in his mouth.
Oh yeah,
it's in his mouth and it pulls him out. Yeah, I like that. I like that. So I got one, and you might have overlooked it, but I can't remember if it was somewhere around 2007, 2008. It was called the Gulf of Mexico match. It was Chavo Guerrero versus CM Punk.
What? No.
You don't remember this?
No. Run me back, man.
They had a story. They had a storyline, and Chavo Guerrero challenges CM Punk to a Gulf of Mexico match. Stipulations are: the match starts in the ring, they fight to the back,
and they have to throw each other in the Gulf of
outside the
Mexico.
building. Whoever gets thrown in the Gulf of Mexico loses.
And let me guess, they ended up. I think I'm remembering now. They ended up on like some little bank, right next to the Gulf.
And CM
throw
Punk,
him off the bridge.
Super kicked him.
Jesus, man.
It was
Take
like
a Stone
the
Cold
dumbest
bump.
thing ever.
Yeah.
It was the dumbest thing ever. I'm like, oh gosh. But you know what though? You know what? Why I think that was one of the stupidest of that time period? Because if you remember, like from 2005 to like 2011, there was a lull period in WWE. Like there was nothing entertaining. It was John Cena forced down the throat, and then you had like DX try to come back, and Shawn Michaels was tag teaming with God. It just didn't.
That
was
match,
a lull period.
That match, I feel like I'm going to hell for watching that match. I watched that match live. You had Shawn Michaels and God teaming up against the McMahons, I believe it was. Yes, dude, that match was something else, man. The light coming down, the fleshlight that was following him all the way to the ring.
God took some hell of a bumps those nights, though.
Dude, hell of a bump. You get it?
And he sold like a motherfucker too. So.
Hey, Jesus. All right. Next.
Watch it.
It's a family show. This match always kind of bothered me, and it really took an effect on me when I watched Chris Jericho up in the air, and I had to watch Kevin Owens fight Roman Reigns. The shark cage match. That is just not entertaining to me at all. Not entertaining to me at all. I don't get it. And like, he could easily just be like, hey, I brought something, and just drop it. And usually that's what happens, and it gets in the wrong hands. Yeah. It's like, cool, man. So now I just got to watch Chris Jericho go up there and miss half the match because the cameras are always showing him. Cool. Awesome. Great match.
You know what? That was on my list too. Any kind of shark cage match, not just that one. But the person that
That's the one
always
that set
ends
me
up
over the edge.
the person that always ends up in the cage is always the one that has backstage heat or is afraid of heights. So they stick him up there, and it's like, as punishment. Like Big Cass when he
And Enzo,
wrestled,
right?
and Enzo. Yeah, Enzo was afraid of heights.
Yeah. And I'm sure he was getting a lot of
So
heat
that.
backstage.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah, that made my list too. I don't get those kind of gimmick matches.
Yeah. All right.
It's just
We're 3. What was your last one again?
the Gulf of Mexico match.
We'll go 4 for 4. We'll go 4 for 4.
All right. So I got one, and it's a broad. It's something very broad. Every hardcore championship match in WCW. Every one of them. I wrote every hardcore match in WCW was terrible. 97-year-old Terry Funk swinging chairs and attempting moonsaults onto Crowbar and Johnny the Bull every week got old. Sometimes the
Dude.
matches weren't even on the card. It wasn't like the hardcore title in WWF because those matches were actually fun to watch.
I was about to say WWF really won the hardcore way, and WCW won the cruiserweight way. Like they had respectable divisions in each part, and that hardcore title, I remember how important it was. Like it's not the 24/7 championship. That's nowhere near what the hardcore title meant. If you haven't watched a good hardcore match, there was one I believe was at WrestleMania, and I think it was like a 4-way or 5-way match. I remember Raven was in it. I remember Kane was in it. I believe Al Snow was in it. Dude, I think it was WrestleMania 17. And it was one of the greatest matches I ever seen. They were just tearing, bro. He put Raven through the glass window, like in that match. That was so cool to see. That was, dude. The hardcore championship in WWF really meant a lot more. But yeah, WCWs, they kind of floundered. They definitely floundered that one.
Yeah.
So.
It's just, I mean, you had Ralphus as hardcore champion. Wow. I mean. And Ralphus was 340 pounds. And he was like 66 years old.
He looked good. He sold on paper, damn it.
Yeah.
It's putting asses in the seats.
Yeah, that'll put butts every 12 inches.
All right, Tony. All right. All right. I got one. And this was like a one-off deal because they realized canines and wrestling did not go together. The Kennel from Hell match, as entertaining and great and traumatizing as that story was, Big Boss Man kidnapping, oh shit, what was the name? Pepper, and then cooking Pepper and feeding Pepper to Al Snow. Does it taste a little peppery to you? Rest in peace, Big Boss Man. Damn, dude, that was such a great storyline. It really was. I enjoyed it. I went back and watched it a couple weeks of it not too long ago. But and then they had a match, and this is why we're here, stipulations. They had a match where it was a steel cage inside of a Hell in a Cell, and in between the Hell in a Cell and the steel cage were attack dogs. Vicious dogs. So they get out there, and they're handlers, yes, walking around rings. So we end up with, I believe, one dog trying to hump another. We ended up with a dog taking a shit, and Al Snow jumping down and running by all 4 or 5 dogs, and not one of them flinched at him. Dude, I swear Vince McMahon had to be backstage. It was just like, yep, it's great shit, damn it.
Dude, God damn it, Al.
Thought these dogs were vicious.
You know what? The best thing though is, well, it's not the best thing. The worst thing is that blue cage that they put up on the ring is probably one of my favorite cages of all time. And it was such a cool, iconic, Like, that was my childhood cage match. I can remember Bret Hart coming from the top with his elbow, the pointed elbow drop that he used to do. And, like, that was my childhood. And they ruined it by putting the Hell in a Cell around it and letting dogs shit on the mat.
Dude, it was just so bad, man. So bad. I literally, like, had nightmares of that match. I was hoping Kane was just going to come out and rip off the door and just raise hell again. That would have made it better for me. But no, man, yeah, that match was just such a letdown because, like, I feel like that storyline really took off. And people were invested in that storyline. Like, it was a good storyline.
Yeah.
I remember Big Boss Man coming to the ring every week, and, like, he was kicking the kennel that he had, and he was like, Pepper's in here, and he was kicking it, and everything. It was great, man. Big Boss Man was definitely a heat machine, dude. He was great. He really had that attitude and that persona of, the correctional officer that's better than you and everything else. So he was good at building heat up, and just the blow off of that match was so disappointing in so many ways.
Right. All right. So I had to do my research for this next one. I had to do research for this one. Yes. In 1996, Monday Night Raw had a match, and they called it the Raw Bowl.
What? What'd you call me?
Yeah, exactly. They called it the Raw Bowl. And it was 4 sets of tag teams dressed in college football jerseys. The ref was dressed up like an actual football ref. And they allowed each tag team timeouts. And whoever won the match got a trophy at the end of the match.
What?
Exactly.
What? I don't remember this at all. Are you shooting at me, man?
No, I swear to you, I can tell you the tag teams. It was Razor Ramon and Savio Vega. It was Bart and Billy Gunn. It was Yokozuna and Owen Hart and X-Pac, and I can't remember who the fourth one was, but I know not 1, 2, 3 Kid.
Where was Norman Smiley in all this?
But yeah, in 1996 they had this, and the ring mat was green and it had football lines on it, and it just said Raw in the middle, like a 50-yard line logo.
I don't get it, man. I don't get
it. Are you looking it up right now?
Yeah. Wait. This match is all right. They really tried some weird shit in WCW. Do you remember the?
Oh, that was WWF.
Oh, that was WWF.
That was WWF. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait. I do not remember this match at all. I gotta go back and watch that. All right, you threw something at me, man. You threw me off. I'm like thrown off by this match because I've never heard of it, ever. All right, so next we are gonna go. Do you remember that triple cage match in WCW?
Oh yeah, that's on my list too.
Doomsday.
That's on
my
Doomsday.
List. Is that what it was? Dude.
Yeah.
It was in that
movie. Are you talking about the one that the Ready to Rumble with David Arquette?
Yes, it was in Ready to Rumble, and then they decided for some reason, let's bring that to life. And I mean, they actually threw somebody off the thing.
Yeah, Chris Kanyon. Chris Kanyon was thrown off the top.
Took him right off into the ring. Dude. Oh my God, man. That match was it was horrible.
What I loved about it, the stupidity of it, is you had this giant Hell in the Cell. You had to get on a ladder, climb to a trap door that was on the top and the bottom cage, climb through this small hole to get to the second cage, which is smaller, that has weapons all around it that you could use at will. Then you had to climb to the third one. And when the last 2 guys got to the third one and they were both in the smaller cage, there wasn't enough room to throw a punch or do any kind of move. That's pushed each other against the corner.
Higher they got up. The higher they got up, the harder it got to work anything. And that's it. The match didn't actually start until somebody got to the top or something. That's when pinfalls and everything else came out. So it's so weird to be like, it's almost like the match, the Casino Royale match. Like, it should be no one can go up there. That's another one, dude. That's another. How this match? So you're beating the hell out of somebody, and you can knock them unconscious, but I can't pin you until they get to the top. All right. Got it. It's the same thing with that other match, man. You know, not everybody can be out, but I can climb up there and win it within the first 2 minutes.
Right.
Cool.
Right,
Got it.
Right.
Understood completely. Yeah, man, that Doomsday match was horrible. And trust me, that is not the last one from WCW. I can tell you that. There are a couple more on my list. I'm saving a good one for last.
I got one from WCW. In 1991, to open up Halloween Havoc, they have the Chamber of Horrors match.
Dude, was that the one with Mick Foley and
yeah.
Yeah, where the thing kept falling?
Yes. It's an 8-man tag match inside of a cage. Inside of the cage was an electric chair. Only way to win is to strap your opponent in the chair and have someone flip the power switch that was hanging on the cage. One problem. During the match, someone was whipped into the cage and the power switch flipped, showing the gimmick. They had a ref climb on the cage from the outside to hold the switch in the off position. Another problem was, and this is what hurt the pay-per-view, another problem was the match went first. The main event was Lex Luger and Ron Simmons for the belt. By the time that match bell rang, half the crowd was in the stands. Everyone had left.
Dude, it just drowns you out, man. You got to have a good match to open the show. Always.
Yeah.
And that's not where you want to start with Abdul the Butcher. Like, in the fucking chair, dude.
Yeah, and then Cactus Jack going over there, go, Abdullah, and like starts smacking him. Then Abdullah the Butcher comes to life and throws him in the chair. It was like the craziest thing ever. Like, oh
Dude,
my gosh,
it's horrible, man.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's go. I'm gonna take it back to the Blindfold Match. Dude, that thing is just, you literally have to watch two people walk around for about 2.5 minutes, not touching each other. And then they bump into the ref, and the ref tries to get out of the way. And then they bump into each other. They both fall on the ground. And then one gets a hold of the other, finishing move, it's over. I just explained every blindfold match in history. I just want you guys to know that. So no reason to watch them. If one comes up, skip it. It's worth it, trust me. You don't want to waste your time.
I put on my notes, I put popcorn match. I put a blindfold match is a popcorn match. Always can predict it. Two guys swing wildly. There's going to be a ref bump at some point. Babyface connects with punch. Babyface goes over.
Yeah. Pretty much. Pretty much. That's it. We saved you guys. There you go. That's the match.
Right. Just call us IMDb. We'll spoil everything.
Man. We got it. We got it. We're in there. What else you got?
So my next match is the Hog Pin Match.
There you go.
The Hog Pin Match. You had, I think it was Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. I think he was going against Phineas Godwin in the Hog Pin match? And the stipulation was you had to get the pin inside the hog pin.
Do you know why that match happened?
It's because they kept slopping him, right? They kept throwing
after the click
on him.
After the click. Yep, he was the only one in the company that they could really touch. So
they tried bringing it back. WWE thought it was so good that it was so extreme that they brought it back in 2009 at Extreme Rules for a ladies match.
Extreme. Yep, that's it.
It was extreme. You want to know how extreme it was? If you go back and you look at the clip from 2009, the ref was wearing like a potato sack, so he didn't get his legs dirty, and he had a rope tied around his waist. It was hilarious when I watched it. I was like, oh my gosh, I was like, I'm done.
Dude, those matches always got me, man. And I missed the one in 2009, thank God. But that I remember Hunter Hearst Helmsley's, and I remember when it was happening, I didn't understand why he was getting shitted on.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm older, I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, yeah, that's exactly why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So what you got for
So,
me?
where are we at? Where are we at? Did we go over? Man, I pretty much touched my list. You got some more?
Yeah,
Let's
I
see
do.
what you got. Go
I
ahead.
do.
I like all wrestling matches, so I named the ones that pissed me off the most. So go ahead. Let's see what you got.
Okay, this one, this one I actually like the premise of. I think it's really, really cool setup. They only did it like 2 years, and it was back to back. It was actually a major pay-per-view. WCW's World War III. 3 rings, 60 men, 20 in each ring. Love the concept. I love the concept. Only problem is the announcers didn't know what was going on from ring to ring.
There's
The
too much
camera
action
was
going on.
focusing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The camera was focusing in on one ring. You didn't know what was going on. Like 15 people were eliminated in the other 2 rings. You had no idea what was going on. And the move set for that match was forearm, 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 jab, toss over the ropes, you're out. And then in order to get to the other ring, they had to, if you were the last one in that ring, you had to wait until it got down to a certain amount in the other
And then
rings,
move
and then
over.
they combine rings.
Yeah.
It made no sense to me. I'm like,
Yeah. No. Yeah.
just,
I definitely remember that match. Yes. That's It was a little. Yeah. There was a lot going on. That's when there's too much going on. It's hard to keep track, honestly. So that was one match. When you have 60 people, it's funny. I saw a picture the other day, and it said name. This is a little off track, but when I talk about too many people, I said name your favorite AEW wrestler. It had all the AEW wrestlers there. Bro, there's like 50 fucking people signed to that place.
Mm-hmm.
They're only doing 2 shows. How are all these people getting Showtime right now?
Well, because they have open contracts, so they can still do indie spots and everything like that. But their main contract is AEW.
Well, there you go. That answers the question about Jeff Cobb that we had earlier.
Yeah, well, he was a free agent though, and he hasn't. I don't think he signed a full contract with AEW. Because then
Maybe
he
they
would be back.
realized the spot. Maybe they realized the spot they brought him in at wasn't the right spot for him. That whole mercenary and everything like that. I wasn't a fan of it. So.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so
my next match.
I thought of one. So, and this is more of a.
Okay, go ahead.
This is more of a. It was a longer running thing. That Brawl for All. If I think about it now, that Brawl for All was just horrible. And it was funny because they had the thing on Dark Side of the Ring about it not too long ago, and that's why I started thinking about it. And but man, it was a go out there, shoot, fight, and you're like. Then they found out Steve Williams wasn't as tough as he was, and dude, did that match make your list?
No, it didn't actually.
No, I mean, dude, it was just. I remember it being a bad idea, and then when I watched. Dark Side of the Ring, there were so many behind the scenes things of it that I didn't know existed. Like Butterbean fucking killing whatchamacallit, what's his face?
Bart
Gunn. Him killing Bart Gunn was Bart Gunn's punishment for winning the Brawl for All. Because I always laughed that they built this guy up for him to get knocked out. Because when I was younger, I thought Brawl for All was a work. I still thought it was a work until I found out later in life that it was actually a shoot fight. I thought it was still a work fight. So then when I found that out, and I'm like, oh shit, damn, they just built this guy up to get knocked out at fucking WrestleMania by Butterbean? And then come to find out, no, he's in trouble for knocking out Steve Williams because they were supposed to build up Steve Williams and Steve Austin. But that whole premise of the Brawl for All was just a bad idea. So, and I don't know if Vince Russo, a.k.a. Shitstain, takes credit for that. But if he does, man, that's a bad thing to take credit for.
Well, I think the worst thing for that, though, is, you're having a real fight on a fake fight show.
Mm-hmm. But
Like
you can have
no
people
one's
like
gonna
Ken
take your
Shamrock
product.
in it. Yeah.
Right.
Ken Shamrock knew that
You're
was a
not gonna
bad
have
idea.
Yeah, no one's gonna take you seriously after that. No one's gonna believe, oh, your fake show. No one's gonna believe your storylines and everything like that.
Yeah. Ken Shamrock
I
knew
mean,
if he did
honestly,
that shit. What?
it ruined people's careers too. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I said Ken Shamrock, he knew if he did that match and he ended up getting knocked out by a stupid punch, it would ruin his whole career.
Yeah.
Because you remember the whole build-up
yeah.
for Tito, and Ken 1 or 2, I forget which one it was. The whole build-up for that match was Tito picking on Ken that he was in WWF at the time. He's like, this ain't fake wrestling, son. Mm-hmm. This is real shit. Know where you're at.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But
he did actually. I'm gonna let you go, but I'm gonna come back to a Ken Shamrock match after you're done. Go ahead.
So I have a stipulation gimmick match, not just one in particular, but stretcher matches. These always got me. You're the premise and to win, you have to put your opponent on the stretcher and put them in the back of the ambulance.
Yeah, are we linking ambulance matches to stretcher matches? Are we going to do that? Because ambulance match is another one that I can think of that's a bad match.
Okay. There's one match in particular, a stretcher match in WCW. I think it was like 99, 2000. It was David Flair, and I want to say he was going against Crowbar. And they brought the stretcher out, and him and Daphne put Crowbar on the stretcher. You see the straps hanging off the stretcher. See them. No, what does David Flair get? He gets athletic tape and tapes Crowbar to it. But the dum-dum forget that they've been wrestling for 20 minutes and there's sweat on the body. So the tape isn't sticking, so he's pushing them to the ambulance, and the tape is just falling off. It's just like loosely a rope.
He looks like that Mummy character from like 1993.
It just falls right off, and it's like, oh my gosh, like, really? Like, really? I didn't get it. I don't get those matches. Don't get this. But let me do my last one, because I think I'm going to have to defend it. And it's certain, and you already know what the match is. But the Buried Alive match. Buried Alive match. Again, like the World War III match. I love the premise. I love the storyline behind it. This, that, and the other. But the Buried Alive match came after the Boiler Room Brawl, which they didn't think the Boiler Room Brawl was going to be that good. So they tried to top it with the Buried Alive match. If you don't have Undertaker and Mankind in that match isn't good. Those people made that match good. But again, I'm from a fan perspective. If I'm sitting on the other side of the ring, I can't see it. It's on the floor, right by the Jumbotron. I can't see it. And I just paid $85, $90 for tickets, and I have to watch it on the screen for 20 minutes. Like,
you're only paying $85 for fucking floor seats somewhere? Let me know where.
Well, this was in 96. Remember, this was in 96. So.
You're right.
Okay. But, again,
I love how you play to the times.
If you don't have Mankind in that match, if you put anybody else during that, you're not going to get that spectacle. Like, no one's going to be like, oh my gosh, why did you say the Buried Alive match was one of the worst stipulations? Okay, because you remember Shawn Michaels and Undertaker were having a feud during that time. If Shawn Michaels was in that match, like, like it wouldn't have done it. Wouldn't have done anything. I mean, the sick bump that where Undertaker throws Mankind and he bounces off the plot and he rolls into the hole. Like, that's a pretty sick bump, but no one's gonna take that bump.
Did you like the premise of it at all? Like the whole idea of the Buried Alive match? Because I know that was one of their more popular matches back in the day, and it was honestly one of my favorites. I love the Buried Alive match. obviously,
the
if you break
premise of it.
anything down, you're not going to like it. You know, if you break it down, you look at it
Right.
piece by piece, you're going to find things here and there that you're going to pick apart. Kind of like how I do to Jimmy Havoc every Wednesday night right here on the Wrestling Paradox podcast. Don't forget to like and subscribe because every Wednesday we are discussing the Wednesday Night Wars.
Thursdays.
Every Thursday
Thursday.
we are discussing the
Thursday.
Wednesday Night Wars. So make sure you tune in live right here, ladies and gentlemen. All right, back to the show. Yeah, man, no, the Buried Alive match, you know, as a fan, I loved. So it was fun to me. I even liked the one with Stone Cold where he got hit in the neck by Shane and they start burying him underneath. You know, I thought it was a cool match. But yeah, I see where you're getting at there.
Yeah, it just didn't, like, if those guys weren't in that match, like if Mankind wasn't in that match, I don't think they would have a second one with Stone Cold.
Yeah, no, definitely. Dude, did you?
It's kind of like a casket match. It's like the casket match.
I was just about to ask you, what did you think of the casket match?
I like that though. I like body bag matches and I like casket matches. You know, because you got to put them in there and zip them up, like, or put them in the casket and lock the casket. Yeah. You know, there's so much you can do with that because you can involve the casket in so many ways. A hole in the ground by the Jumbotron, you can't really do much with it.
Dude, what was always the secret to those matches? Was it like there was like a secret like little compartment they could roll into where they could breathe and shit? Because I don't think being buried with dirt.
Bruce Pritchard said that there's he says he doesn't want to give too much away, but there is a breathing device in the hole in the Buried Alive
match. All right.
And I read that casket that Kane set on fire with Undertaker was in it. It had a trap door that he fell under, and like he got in and it went down, and it was fire retardant on the bottom, so no flames came through.
Those matches always I always had so many questions as a kid, like how those things work. The Buried Alive matches, the matches like that were always when Undertaker was set on fire by Kane. That one always fucked me. I'm like, man, how'd that happen? As you get older, obviously you find things out and you're like, oh, okay, cool. But man, as a kid, dude, those matches are cool to me because I'm like, oh my God, Dad, that guy's dead. We're never gonna see him again. Steve Austin's gone. So
yeah, no, it's.
You know what traumatized me when Steve Austin got thrown off a bridge? I was almost in tears. I wanted to cry. It fucked me up, man.
Yeah.
And then Rock comes out. That son of a bitch is in the dirt.
I mean, he was at the height of his career, so like for them to go that storyline and go that drastic, and then for him to come back, it was actually very, very well done.
Yes, very well done. That was The Rock and Stone Cold probably put together some of the best matches ever. Maybe it's a future idea for a show. We got to rank some matches one night on a Saturday night. Let's rank some Austin Rock matches or something like that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, we can do that. I mean, we can get a guest if you want.
Oh, I think I have someone in mind. I think you want to add a third wheel to this, brother?
We can have a third wheel, and that this what we can tell our fans and people that watch is we're going to start doing on topic night. Have one person, not the same person, one person every week. So we're going to reach out to social media and say, hey, who wants to join? Who wants to join us, talk about it. It could be 80s wrestling, it could be 90s wrestling, best matches, best finishes, best companies, tell a story or how you got into wrestling, this, that, and the other. You don't have to watch wrestling now. You don't have to be, currently watching wrestling. If you only watched in the 90s, we can talk about wrestling in the 90s. That's what Joe and I grew up on.
Yeah, exactly. This we do two shows for a reason. We attack the Wednesday Night Wars for a reason, and we know we have a lot of people who watch that and who can connect on that level and be like, yeah, I watched that last night, and I want to see what they talk about today. And then it's people who don't watch the Wars on Wednesdays. They can join in on Saturdays and be like, oh man, look what they're talking about this week. They're talking about something from the 90s, something from the 80s. They're talking about Smoky Mountain. They're talking about ECW. Those are the people who don't watch that wrestling anymore today. They can still enjoy the conversations that we've talked about, of the yesterdays in the past. So, but this show, it was about stipulations. And I have one more left. One more. And I am so surprised it didn't make your list. And I was saving it, and I went blank in the middle of the show, but I was saving it, man. And that is the Judy Bagwell on a forklift match. Dude.
Well, anything held, anything up in the air on a pole, on a in a forklift.
If it's on a pole, it's over. Damn it. If it comes out of a box, it's over.
Yeah, Judy Bagwell on a forklift match was bad. If you remember, I believe the name of the match was, don't quote me on this, but I think it was called the San Francisco 49ers match. But it had nothing to do with the football team, and it was Booker T versus Jeff Jarrett for the WCW title, and they were the belt was in a box, and it was on 4 boxes, like on the ring post. But there was different things. There was like a signed picture of Scott Hall in one box. There was Viagra in another one. But the boxes
I remember that. Yes.
The boxes were made terribly. So when Booker went to go climb up, touch one of the poles, the bottom of the box fell, and the belt just fell down on the
the belt was too heavy. It just fell to the floor. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that, dude. Oh, man. I think we could do a whole segment on WCW's worst matches. I got quite a few in the back of my head.
You want to know what, though? This is what's great. This is what's great about us and about our Saturday shows and everything like that. We can do one whole show about WCW terrible matches, but then we can do 2 whole shows about their great matches.
Yes. One of the greatest matches ever. David Arquette winning it all. The best match ever.
No way.
Come on,
match
bro.
ever.
Don't take this from me, man.
The finger poke of doom.
Oh, all right, all right. Dude, I felt so bad for David that night, man. You ever go back and, like, hear him when he found out he was winning? He's like, I can't. No, I don't want to. I don't want to. He did not want to win that title, man. Dude,
you fast forward 23 years, 24 years later, and he's
such a
professional wrestler now.
Dude, a deathmatch wrestler, bro. Do you understand what you have to go through to be a deathmatch wrestler? Like, I blame ECW for all this nonsense going on right now because it instilled it in our heads. And the people that are doing this are our fucking age. These guys are nuts, bro. And
I watched David Arquette versus Nick fucking Gage. I think it was last year, and they wrestled, and there was a plane of glass in the corner. Nick Gage threw David Arquette in it. Then he did like a package pile driver through a plane of glass that was stuck between 2 chairs. It gashed David Arquette's arm so bad that he was laying there and he was holding his arm because he was bleeding so much. He was laying there. He looked at Nick Gage and said, "Pin me, pin me, pin me." And Gage laid down, and as soon as you get a 3 count happened, Arquette left, and he sliced his whole arm. His bicep was almost hanging out of it. I'm like,
Jesus,
this is an actor.
Lord.
Like, this is an actor.
Dude, David Arquette is such a badass, but he just got signed to Scream 5, so hopefully he stops all that weird shit. I wonder how Courtney feels about all this. Oh, man. Dude. All right, we're going off topic, man. Tonight was stipulations, and stipulation is what it's something else, man. They put some great matches together, and then other times there are just some shit stains that come out. So I had a great time tonight. What do you think, man? Did we leave anything off the table? Was there any match that we forgot somewhere? Anything? I'm sure there was. There had to have been some we forgot. And look, if we did, make sure you guys tell us in the comments the worst stipulations that you remember.
If we forgot something, you tell us what we forgot.
Yeah. And don't forget, we do have shirts coming soon, very soon. That beautiful logo behind Chris. Make sure you guys follow us at Podcast Paradox on Twitter. And make sure you follow us right here, like and subscribe. Make sure you guys don't miss out. Every Wednesday, we are reviewing, or every Thursday, we are reviewing the Wednesday Night Wars. I got to get onto that. And then every Saturday, you are getting a topic show. Hey. Huh? Hello? All right, yo. It's been fun. We'll see you guys on Thursday. See, I got it that time.
Mhm.